For a long time, Pompeii believed it was safe, not because it was protected, but because nothing had ever proven otherwise. The streets were alive. Voices filled the markets. Laughter drifted through open courtyards. Water echoed softly from stone fountains. It was a city that trusted tomorrow. And above it, watching without urgency, stood a mountain. Quiet, still, almost invisible in its normality. Mount Vesuvius. No one feared it. Not truly. There were no stories passed down about fire, no warnings carved into memory, no living voice that remembered what it once was. To them, it was just a mountain, and that assumption would cost them everything. The morning began like any other. Shops opened, bread was baked, wine was poured. People argued, people laughed, people lived. Nothing about the day suggested an ending, because endings rarely announce themselves. They arrive quietly, disguised as ordinary hours. There had been earthquakes before. Small ones, sharp but brief, enough to shake walls, not enough to change behavior. Pompeii had learned to ignore them. Adaptation can feel like strength until it becomes blindness. Around midday, something shifted. Not dramatically, not in a way that demanded attention, just a feeling that something was off. The air felt heavier, the silence between sounds longer. Animals grew restless. But humans continued. Because routine is powerful, it keeps us moving, even when we should stop. Then, without warning, the sky opened. A column of ash and gas erupted from the mountain, rising violently into the air, faster than anything they had ever seen, higher than anything they could understand. It expanded and twisted, forming something almost unnatural, like a tree made of smoke, growing in seconds, reaching toward the sky, and then, beyond it. People stopped. They looked. They tried to explain it. Some called it a storm. Others thought it was a fire. But it didn't move like a storm, and it didn't behave like fire. It just kept rising, relentless, silent from a distance, but filled with violence. At first, there was curiosity, not fear. Curiosity, because the human mind always searches for familiar explanations, and when it cannot find one, it delays judgment. That delay matters. Ash began to fall, light, soft, almost gentle. It drifted through the air, settling on rooftops, on streets, on shoulders, like gray snow. Some people stepped outside to watch. They tilted their heads, held out their hands, observing something they did not yet understand. Because it didn't hurt. Not yet. Time passed. And the ash did not stop. It thickened. What was once soft became heavy. Pumice stones began to fall. Small at first, then larger, harder, faster. Roofs started to creak, then strain, then collapse. The streets changed. What had been stone became buried. Step by step, layer by layer. Pompeii was disappearing. Not destroyed, buried. Breathing became difficult. The air was no longer clean. It carried dust, heat, weight. Every breath required effort. Every moment became more uncertain. And still, many stayed. Because leaving meant stepping into the unknown. And the unknown is something humans resist, even when the known is slowly turning against them. Families gathered their belongings. Some prepared to leave, others hesitated, waiting for clarity, waiting for certainty. But certainty never came. The sky darkened, not like evening, faster, heavier, unnatural. Lamps were lit, but the light felt weak, swallowed, as if the darkness itself had weight. Voices changed, from calm to confusion to fear. But even then, it wasn't panic. Not yet. Because the true danger had not arrived. Far above them, inside that towering column of ash, something was forming. Something they could not see. Something they could not imagine. And it was moving closer. Slowly, at first, then faster. And when it came, there would be no time to understand it. No time to escape it. No time to survive it. But for now, Pompeii still breathed, still moved, still hoped, not knowing that the hardest part had not even begun. By evening, Pompeii was no longer a city. It was a shadow of itself. The sky had disappeared, not faded, not dimmed, erased. Darkness covered everything. But it wasn't the kind of darkness people knew. Not night, not absence of light. This was something heavier, something that pressed down on the streets, on the rooftops, on the people. Lamps flickered in the distance, small islands of light, floating in a sea of black. But even they struggled, as if the darkness was resisting them. Ash continued to fall, relentless, unstoppable. Every second, more weight. Every minute, more pressure. Roofs collapsed across the city, one after another. The sound echoed through the streets, wood breaking, stones shifting, lives being buried beneath it all. People began to move, not calmly anymore, not patiently. Now, there was urgency. Families gathered what they could carry, coins, jewelry, food, things that once mattered, things that now meant almost nothing. Because survival was becoming the only currency. Some tried to leave the city. They stepped into streets they could barely see. Ash rising around their ankles, then their knees, then higher. Each step slower than the last. Breathing burned. The air was thick, hot, filled with dust that clawed at the lungs. Cloths were pressed against faces, not to survive, but to delay. And still, they moved, because standing still felt worse. Some didn't leave. They couldn't. Elderly, injured, or simply frozen by fear. So they waited, inside homes, behind walls that were no longer protection, but traps. Some prayed. Some called out to gods that remained silent. Some held each other, as if human warmth could fight what was coming. And above all of this, the mountain continued. The eruption did not weaken. It evolved. High above the city, the towering column of ash grew unstable. Shifting, breaking, reforming, a sign of something far more dangerous. Something invisible from below. But not everyone was trapped inside Pompeii. Far across the bay, in a place called Misenum, someone was watching. A man, observing the sky, studying the strange formation rising from the mountain, trying to understand it. His name was Pliny. He described what he saw as something like a pine tree, a column rising tall, then spreading outward at the top. Unnatural, beautiful, in a terrifying way. He did not run. He moved closer, not out of fear, but curiosity. Because even in the face of danger, humans seek answers. He sailed toward the eruption, closer to the unknown, closer to the truth. But what he found was not something that could be understood. Back in Pompeii, the night deepened. The air grew hotter. The ground trembled again, stronger this time, longer, more violent. Walls cracked, structures weakened. Anything that remained stable was now beginning to fail. And then Something changed. Far beyond the city, a new force began to move. A surge. Not lava, not fire. Something faster, something deadlier. A cloud of superheated gas and ash rushed down the side of the mountain. Silent at first, then unstoppable. It consumed everything in its path. Fields, roads, structures, life. But it did not reach Pompeii, not yet. It stopped short. And for a brief moment, there was something dangerous, something deceptive, something human. Hope. Maybe this was the worst of it. Maybe the city had survived. Maybe staying had been the right choice. But the mountain had not finished. It was only beginning to reveal what it truly was. The ash still fell. The darkness still held. The city still struggled to breathe. And somewhere beyond sight, another surge was forming. Larger, faster, final. Pompeii did not know it yet. But the next phase would not feel slow. It would not feel uncertain. It would not allow decisions. It would arrive, all at once. And when it did, there would be no more waiting, no more movement, no more time. Only silence. And then, nothing. Just before dawn, there was a shift. Not in the city, not in the people, but in the mountain. The eruption column, the towering pillar that had dominated the sky, collapsed. And in that moment, something far more dangerous was released. It moved faster than sound could carry a warning, faster than thought, faster than fear. A pyroclastic surge, a wave of superheated gas, ash, and fragmented rock rushing down the slopes of Vesuvius toward Pompeii. There was no signal, no sound that could be understood in time, no visible wall to run from. Just a sudden, overwhelming change. The air shifted, from heavy to lethal. Temperature rose instantly, hundreds of degrees, enough to end life in seconds. Some may have felt it. A breath that burned, a heat that didn't feel like fire, but something deeper, more absolute. Most did not even have that moment. They were standing, walking, holding someone, trying to escape, trying to stay, and then nothing. No struggle, no prolonged suffering, no final realization that could be completed. Life stopped, exactly where it was. Bodies fell, or froze mid-motion, and within seconds, ash covered everything. Layer by layer, the city disappeared, not destroyed, not erased, but sealed. Pompeii became silent, completely. The streets remained, the houses remained, the objects remained. And within them, the final moments of thousands of lives remained. Time did not continue here. It ended. Days passed, then years, then centuries. The world moved on. Empires rose, empires fell, and beneath layers of hardened ash, Pompeii waited. For nearly 1,700 years. No one heard it. No one saw it. No one remembered it clearly. Until it was found again. At first, it was fragments. Walls, objects, shapes that did not make sense. And then, something strange. Empty spaces in the ash, human-shaped voids. Carefully, they were filled, and what emerged was not ruin. It was presence. A man, covering his face. A woman, curled inward. A child, held close. A dog, still chained. Not statues, not interpretations, moments. Captured at the exact point where life ended. This is what makes Pompeii different. Most disasters leave absence. They take everything, and leave almost nothing behind. But Pompeii left too much. It showed the human side of catastrophe. Not numbers, not timelines, people. And even now, questions remain. Did they understand what was happening at the very end? Did they realize the scale of it? Did hope disappear slowly or all at once? There are no clear answers, only silence. But there is something else, something more unsettling. Because Pompeii was not unique. It was not the first city to believe it was safe, and it will not be the last. Mount Vesuvius still stands, not far from where millions of people live today. It is monitored, studied, watched. But so was Pompeii, in its own way, through habit, through familiarity, through assumption. And that is the quiet truth this story leaves behind. Disaster does not always arrive as chaos. Sometimes it begins as normal. A regular morning, a familiar street, a routine that feels unbreakable. Until something shifts, until the sky changes, until it is already too late. Pompeii does not warn loudly. It does not shout. It whispers, through stone, through ash, through the shapes of those who never left. A single question. If you had been there, on that day, in that city, would you have seen it in time? Or would you have stayed just a little longer?